Should be live now. Just gonna give it a few minutes for people to trickle in. There we go. Got that off the screen. It's always awkward at the start of these, waiting around for a little bit for people to show up. And do let me know if the audio's not alright. I'll try to fix it if it isn't. Is there anybody out there today? Just still giving it a few minutes for people to trickle in. It's only been a couple. Hello, Matthew Broderick. How are you doing today? Pretty good. Oh, that's nice to hear. I'm doing all right. I had a really messed up sleep. I didn't get to bed until the sun came up this morning. Oh, you've got a friend watching with you. Nice. Yeah. Yeah, Jesus Christ is the right kind of thing to say when you don't get to bed until the sun comes up and then sleep in till 2. It was a little rough, but it's been a comfy day aside from that. Been some good streams going on, that sort of thing. Oh, this is One Step from Eden. It's a roguelite deck builder that has a combat system that's very similar to a game series called Mega Man Battle Network. That was, I believe it was on the Game Boy Advanced. I remember playing it on the Game Boy Advanced. It was one of the first games I ever played on a Game Boy. Was Mega Man Battle Network 6, I think, and then I went back through and did the rest of the series. I could be misremembering. Might have been 4 or 5. But it was pretty fun. A nice little mix of RPG elements, and the combat system was pretty unique. Real-time grid-based combat instead of turn-based JRPG stuff. Oh, if you haven't heard of Mega Man Battle Network, you should go check it out. It's really easy to emulate since it's on the Nintendo portables. Don't have to mess around with Dolphin or motion controls or anything, just a couple buttons and you're good to go. Still gonna hold for a minute here, so I got a terrible joke for you. What's considered bad form in rhinoceros culture? Tooting your own horn. Eh? 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 Yeah. Yeah, it's an awful joke. Just thought of it a few minutes ago. Alright, well, it's been about 5 minutes here, and I had this scheduled, so we're gonna start a run here now. There's a bunch of characters to select from, and they all have different basic attacks and spells. So you can see this is a very ice-focused character. There's a theme here. So this is what the game calls a weapon is a basic attack. It's something that costs nearly nothing and is always available. And then spells rotate through two at a time from your deck and have various effects. Unfortunately, unlike Isaac, this game doesn't have a random character button. But I quite like playing Saffron, so we'll start with her. Oh, and they have different cosmetics to unlock, too. Just go with a random seed here. No, I missed that one. And so the spells are cast in this game based off of a mana system, which is probably my least favorite aspect about the game. So I tend to focus on getting mana regen up as much as possible so I can ignore the delay between casting spells. I don't like any of these right here. But that one seems more useful than nothing. And after almost every combat, you're offered... Oh, Saffron is a nice name. It's very floral. There's a spice called saffron, and it's the most expensive spice by weight in the world. Something like... Oh, I'm just gonna pull a number out of nowhere here. I think it's close to $800 a gram or something. It smells really nice, though. I think we're gonna take this minigun here. It's a nice little cheap damage source. And so similarly to other deck building games... Oh, it's also counterfeited constantly, Saffron is? Yeah, no surprise there with how expensive it is. If you could pass off even a little bit of it, or sneak some sawdust in there, you'd be making a lot of money, Bunzel. And hi there, Bunzel. Welcome to the stream. Bunzel is my mom. Bunzel made this avatar for me, and I really like it. Thank you. Thank you, Bunzel. So similarly to Slay the Spire and other deck builders, you get a few paths to pick from here. And there's a key on the left side of the screen here. We're going to be prioritizing the mini-boss encounters because they provide... I think the game calls them relics, but I call them perks. They're the passive effect that help you in combat. I shouldn't have taken that hit there. I could have dodged it. But I didn't want to have the hostage there take the hit. These rings are interesting since you only have 2 spell slots. Taking one of them is a little risky, but their benefits are kind of good. Since they're kind of like mini passives. Oh, the visuals in this game are really nice, Matthew Broderick. I like the sprite work a lot. Saffron is about $8 a gram. Ooh, I might have gotten that price very wrong. I think we'll take the Circle of Fire. Fire spells have some good synergies if you can get some of the anima cards that support it. Okay, this little black guy here, see, he gains a triangle every time we move and then shoots a laser, so on more active grids he can be very frustrating, but since this is a very passive grid, since this cactus only fires shots off when we hit it, it's not really a problem here. Just gonna take a second to get through this without getting hit. Ah, free mini thunder. Don't mind if I do. We're not focused on flow casting. Shuffle time might be important later. Saffron is oddly enough easy to counterfeit because most people can't afford to try real saffron. That's interesting, Bunzel. Safflower is similar enough that it's more of a prestige than a flavor. Oh. You know what? That makes a lot of sense. I think I've had real saffron before, but I wouldn't be able to tell the difference between that and the safflower either, because I know I've had safflower. This defense is nice, it's a little bit of damage reduction, but I like a lower shuffle time so I can get back to casting spells, so we're just gonna take the max mana. We walked right into that laser. Trying to avoid hitting those hostages. Ooh, Luck Box. Luck Box is really nice since luck in this game increases your rewards from combat, the rarity and such. We don't quite have enough money to make use of a shop, so we'll take the campfire for the heal and the luck up. I don't quite like summoning buildings here. The money shot is very nice sometimes, and since it can leave a fire on the floor after it hits, I think we'll take it. Ooh, mana regen, love to see that. So how's your day been going, Bunzel? Where'd that jam come from? Oh, you must have hit me. Oh, it's been up and down, but you think it's been a good day? Oh, that's good to hear. I just missed your Fish Gaming Wednesday, by the way. I was out of the house. Didn't get back until late. Oh, and you get the option to spare these, I guess you could call them floors, these maps. You get the option to spare these floor bosses for a heal. I don't know if there's a real reward for putting them out of their misery. There's always VODs for the good parts. Yes, thankfully, you are one of the chubas out there that's very diligent about keeping VODs up. And for that I appreciate. We can't take this Dark World path, which changes some things about the game without skipping the mini-boss tile, so I think we'll stick to the upper path here. Oh, that one Argentinian! Oh, yes. I know the one you're talking about. Yeah, I dropped from 1080p to 720p in hopes that the RG might be able to tune in, but if he's stuck with 160, I don't think that's gonna help him until I get a quality selector. Oh, you've talked to him on Twitter, that's nice. I didn't know he had a Twitter. Speaking of Twitter, I don't know if I should be using it more for this kind of thing. I've mostly been keeping it to, trying to DM people help when they needed setting up a game, or if they, or as a place for people to contact me, instead of using it as like a media outlet. Oh, they have issues with 720 at 30? Ooh, dang. Then they're definitely not going to be able to watch 720 at 60. Which if I set everything up right, this should be playing at that. I like the maximum mana. We don't really have enough frost spells to take advantage of these sunglasses. I do post when I stream on Twitter, Matthew, and I'm going to be putting up a schedule this Friday, just a couple days from now. Oh, I got another awful pun for you guys. How do snakes dance? They snake rattle and roll. Ooh, bit both of those hits there. Did it again. Man, I'm just walking right into those. I swear I'm not bad at this game. Oh, brilliant. Hello, Ape Like Smell. Welcome to the stream. How are you doing today? We don't have any ways to proc Fragile, so we'll just take the random heal there. I could go for another luck up. Being at max health is always nice, so we'll just go in here and pop the luck bag. Ooh, I'm doing okay today, but I slept in really late. And then went out of the house for a while. Thanks for asking, Ape. See, I swear I'm not bad at this game. You and someone else keep falling asleep when the other wakes up, so it's hard to contact the other. You could say it's a game of sleep frog. Ah! That's a nice pun there, Bunzel. Good one. Gain shield when you take flame damage. You know what? It's better than nothing, but I don't see us taking a lot of flame damage. I like this Hailstorm spell a lot. It sets up some passive damage, but it's a bit random. Oh, they weren't very impressed with the pun. Well, puns don't go unappreciated around these parts. This boss has a shield that she likes to throw at you for random amounts of damage, based on how much shield is left on the shield that she throws. But, it's not that hard to dodge her attacks. And the bosses do get scaling, they scale with how far you've progressed through the game. So these earlier bosses are much easier. Their patterns are more forgiving than later bosses. eating a lot of damage there just to try to get some hits in. But she's almost gone. So speaking of sleeping for a long time, you guys have any good dreams lately? Because I had a neat little dream the other day where I was just kind of piloting a Zeppelin around the world, landing in capital cities, and somehow everybody around the world just managed to speak perfect English without an accent. That was probably the strangest part. Not the Zeppelin, just everybody speaking the same language. We don't have any consume. I do like the idea of more max mana. So we'll take the max HP down. 7 mana is a good spot to be at, so we don't need to take max mana ups from here on out, I don't think. Bunzel, you don't typically have dreams, but when you do, they're too realistic and you get confused about the date. Oh no. I used to have that happen to me too. It's always weird when dreams and reality seems to kind of merge together like that, isn't it? Like I think the worst thing about that is if you have a dream about the news, and then something in the news happens that's very similar to that, but not quite exact to what you experienced in the dream. That's one of the more unsettling things about dreams, is when they match up too close to reality, but are just different enough to leave you questioning why. Lots of school anxiety dreams for you, Matthew. I'm sorry to hear that. And yeah, it is a little deep into the semester for people that are in school. It's about, I'd say it's about halfway done for me. Sorry, I'm focusing a little here, trying to not get hit by these rapid-fire lasers. There we go. Oh, I gotta take this guy out still, too. Sometimes there are passive enemies that you can ignore and the stage will clear without them dying, and I thought that was one of those for a second. 25% chance to shoot a laser when you cast a spell. Well, we already took a luck box, so I'll take the bonus-free damage. Damage on Shuffle, Frost Effect, or a heal. Damage on Shuffle, why not? We'll take the heal from the campfire, though. Yeah, so I'm in school studying computer science related stuff right now, and that's a little bit of a doozy. Takes up a bit more time out of my week than I'd like, but it's pretty nice trying to solve logic puzzles, which is really all programming is. This boss likes to mess up the battle grid so that you're stuck possibly unable to hit her. Like this. So even if you have a very high damage dealing kind of thing, this boss can mess you up because you're just forced to play to a different beat than what you expect. And we're almost through with her, though. There we go. Took a lot of hits there, but, good enough. So, a question for those of you returning. How do you feel about, roguelike, roguelite gameplay being the primary focus of this channel? I've only been around for about a week or so, but, kinda thinking it might be nice to start a, longer playthrough of, maybe a PS2 JRPG. Bunzel thinks it's good to vary yourself early and see what you like streaming. You know, that's not a bad idea. I'm kind of in a rush to get a schedule together, I think. Might just be better for a while to do more guerrilla content. Just explore what works. And specifically, I was thinking of playing a game called, I think it's called Lunar Legend. If you've ever heard of that, it's a nice little, kind of classic JRPG. There's not too much special or unique about it, but it's got a nice little story and some pretty comfortable characters. Taking a lot of hits from those dogs there. Ooh, you think that sounds nice, Matthew? Ooh, okay. That's, something I'll keep in mind. You know what, we could use a heal here, and these shuffle effects aren't really gonna help us too much. By the same logic, we'll stop and get a full heal at the campfire here. Ooh, I don't know if we have a good way to hit that, that crystal. Looks like we do. Might be a useless comment, but you agree with what Bunzel said about variation. I'll note that ape-like smell. And Bunzel, you've only done Gorilla to this point, and it does debuff a bit, but you think you've learned a lot since you started doing it. Okay. That's a good point. The gorilla debuff is a little real, but as I saw with the first few streams I did last week, but you know, it's better for testing out things like audio when you don't want everybody to hear you talking through a tin can. Dead enemies leave a flame behind. Sure. Ooh, and this one's a nice one. Free spell power. Spell power just increases the damage these cards deal by a flat amount. I'm a little embarrassed, honestly, that I think I had the most people show up for the stream I had with the worst audio quality. Might have left a bad first impression with a few people. And you know what they say, you only get one first impression. And this boss is mostly just letting us wail on her, which is nice. Uh-oh. Ah, a little bit of unavoidable damage there. And it looks like she's going to do the same thing. So we can dodge it this time since the pattern was a little kinder to us. There, that boss is taken care of. And you think it's, ooh. It's no worry, people are pretty understanding. You think they've gotten a lot of chances to make up for first impressions. Ah, yeah, that's fair. You know, the more you stream, I guess, the less that stuff matters. And we're back to full and moving on to Zone 5. I am not particularly interested in any of these cards, and looking at these, I realize I've forgotten to set up focus. You can influence. You have two slots up here in your inventory to influence the selection of cards you get by the class that they fall under. And we started out with a lot of cards from the Anima school, this Thunder and this Frostbolt, really, which was half of the cards we started with, and we've gotten the cards we've picked have mostly work in tandem with those. So we should be looking for more of those cards. Little Dinky Flame spell. You know, it's got 2 free upgrades on it, so should just take that. You do kind of stream at dartboard hours, Bunzel. I do appreciate your Fish Gaming Wednesday videos, though. They're very comfy when I can catch them. And you say even if there's like a general schedule, it's a bit more reliable than like a fixed schedule or just random gorilla streams. That does make sense, but I'm in a kind of weird spot right now where every day is a little too freeform for my liking. So I think a stricter schedule might help me out a bit more. And yeah, different parts of the day are a lot more competitive. Like in my time zone, I'd say after 11 PM, it gets kind of dead. And then it's like that all the way for like almost 12 hours. So I was kind of thinking of, since my sleep's so messed up, maybe doing a lot more Gorilla streams late at night. But then I kind of talked myself out of it because I figured that might give the wrong impression about the hours that I do want to stream when I get a real schedule. You know, might get the might attract more Europeans than are comfortable with an American scheduling. And I'd feel kind of bad just leaving them out on the leaving them out on a branch if I went back to a normal sleeping pattern. 2 free defense is nice. We'll take that. And a level up perk. Free healing at the start of combat is kind of nice, especially for the for dealing with the streamer debuff of having your IQ decreased while you're playing a game and streaming it at the same time. Definitely feels a little bit different to me, but I think I'm getting used to it a bit more each time I stream. Just trying to split my attention between talking with you folks and playing the game at the same time. Yeah, not too bad there. I like how it gives you that little bit of encouragement for doing a battle perfect with the word flawless there. It feels really good to see that every time I do. Some games you play better when streaming. Ooh. This deserves a bit more investigation, because I haven't found one of those yet. I make a lot more mistakes on camera with these roguelikes and roguelites than I do off camera. There is a little bit of adrenaline boost from being nervous. That might help with action games, but with games where you have to think on your feet more than act in the moment is like, ooh, it's messing with me a little bit. Because I mostly play games that are require a lot of positional thinking more than I guess impulse thinking would be the right way to put it. Positional over impulse thinking. We don't break a lot of tiles, but this is a free perk, so why not? Ooh, and an upgraded version of the, this is like a better version of the Hailstorm that we have, so we'll just take that right quick. This boss might end us here. I am historically very bad at dealing with this ice boss. Oh, yep, there we go. We are goners. I'd forgotten that we do get a free revive from sparing the shield lady earlier. Okay, I think we're gone for real this time. I had totally forgotten that Saffron also gets a free revive as a starting perk. But that's a one-off. Really needing all the help we can get with this Ice Lady. And with 2 revives, we do get through it. We're gonna have to spare her for the heal, as much as I'd like to put a bullet through her face. So, random question for you guys. Do you guys like to collect anything? Just like little trinkets, curios, that kind of thing? I have a particular fondness for little, I'm not sure if they're made anymore, but these little soapstone creatures that I keep finding in antique stores. You collect games, Ape. Oh, that's something that I collect too. I think I have a few hundred. Not all physical. They're mostly digital, but I do have some disc copies of games that I'm quite fond of. I got them mostly out of sentimentality than playing them on disc, though. Oh, those little soapstone statues are still made? I'll have to find a place to get them. Other than antique stores. They're usually not expensive, but I quite like them because they feel soft in your hands in a good way. And they're kind of cute. I might post a picture of the ones I have later. But I think I have a whale and a couple turtles, mostly sea creatures. Gift shops near native reserves. Ooh. You mean nature reserves? Because, I don't think any of the reservations that I've ever been near on while I'm traveling are known to have gift shops, but you're in Canada, aren't you? So maybe it's a little different up there how that works. When I should post a picture, you think? Okay, I will. I'll put a picture to Twitter of my little soapstone critter collection after the stream. I just make a note of that so I don't forget. We're just gonna take the plus mana region there. Who accidentally hit the hostage there instead of that little red guy. Oh, and this is one of these teleporting triangles. They fire a shot and then warp to the opposite side of the grid from where they relative to the center point of the grid. So if they're on this they're on the upper left tile, they'll swap to the lower right tile. A triple upgraded thunderstorm. Oh, except it consumes itself, so this can only be used once per combat. You know what? We'll take it anyways. Thunderstorm's a fun card. And we do have quite a lot of money now, so we will visit the shop. So the shops, you can buy perks and cards here. And these little debuffs that give you some kind of reward, but I wouldn't really take these. Like this one makes you take an extra 100 damage from every attack. That'll just kill you in most combats. It depends on the reserve in question. Some have areas with tourism nearby, otherwise wouldn't make any point to have gift shops. Yep, that's a fair point, Bunzel. Yeah, down here in the States, I don't think I've ever seen a reservation have a gift shop. Maybe down by the Grand Canyon, though, because I think there's a reserve near the Grand Canyon, and that there are some natives living in the Grand Canyon. Yeah, there are some natives living in the Grand Canyon, aren't there? Because you can pay somebody to give you a couple donkeys and take you on a walking trip down there. There's like a whole town. Have I ever been to the Grand Canyon? No, I haven't, Matthew, but I would like to go someday. I think it'd be interesting to be there. Except maybe not on the glass bridge, since I'm terrible with heights. Oh, we're just gonna keep taking these mana regen perks every time they come up in the shop, I think. For every 5 spells in our deck, how many is that? 5, 10, 14... So that's +2 right now, +3 if we get another spell. Oh, you've been? You think it's scary? The glass bridge thing? Yeah. Yeah, I'd imagine it'd be scary. No matter how much engineering you put into a structure, you know, you just can't trust it. Engines, on the other hand, in machines, I always have an inherent trust in machines. I used to fly planes kind of frequently. And despite my fear of heights, I have absolute trust in aircraft, since they can, unless you're in a helicopter, they have the ability to glide for pretty good distances, even unpowered. Not sure how common soapstone is in the south. You know it's associated with Inuits up here. Probably something else interesting, though. Yeah, I think down in the desert down there, it's less about soapstone and more about, oh, I forget the name of the stone, but it's like this teal aquamarine kind of blue stone. I don't think it's aquamarine though. I think it's agate, A-G-A-T-E, agate, is what they use mostly for jewelry. Agate and leather, and then they embroider patterns into the leather and use the agate as an accent. I'm not liking these perks. We still got a lot of money to burn through, so I'm just gonna speed up the process in the shop here. And we're kind of running low on the money now, so we're gonna put some more money into upgrades so we can improve the cards we already have. Probably starting with the minigun. These upgrades aren't all that good, but this shield upgrade is kind of innocuous. So we'll take that. Probably upgrade this firewall. Also, how's the game audio for you guys? Is it sounding a little too loud? Double cast firewall. Oh, perfect game audio? Good, good. That's good. I think we'll take the fragile, since it's an area of effect spell. And then we can remove one of these spells. If I had to remove one, I'd probably remove this kinetic wave spell, since it costs 2 and doesn't do a lot of damage. I think we'll buy the medkit here, since we don't have much reason to go to more than one shop in a run. Ooh, that was nice. Explosions on every other tile. And can apply frost. Sure, why not? Have any of you ever played Secret of Mana? Or any of the other games in the Mana series? You've seen some gameplay for Secret of Mana, but never gotten into it. I've played I think I've played a DS, like, downgrade port of Secret of Mana. I'm kind of eager to play the original SNES copy, though, and I do have a ROM lying around. So I might set that up tonight and do that tomorrow. Yeah, there we go. DS copies of SNES games are often pretty good. You'd be interested to know how they compare to the real thing, though. Ooh. Yeah, that would be a good point. I could compare how the DS game felt compared to the real one after I play the real one. That'd be good. Oh, and hello, Arya. How are you doing today? Welcome to the stream. You did hear Secret of Mana. I was asking your guys' opinion on the game because I've never played the original. I've only played a DS spin-off of it. So what are your thoughts on Secret of Mana, Arya? Oh, and Ape, you played some of 3. I didn't think that they used numbers in the game in that series. I'm probably wrong though. Oh, they numbered them in Japan. Ah, that makes sense. So the original is your favorite, but you find it a little lacking. Yeah. I did hear a passing comment from somebody the other day that the series is kind of like the Tales series in that each entry has like one big flaw in it, and the music is always great, but there's always something to enjoy. And speaking of series, I was thinking of doing the Tales series also. Probably not anytime soon, but I would like to get into that. Mana went downhill after 3, but people like Legends. Legends sounds familiar. Was that the name of the DS entry? I really can't remember the name of the DS entry. I just know that there was a game set in the same series that was on the DS that I played that had Mana in the name. Neither one of these two are on the right are too good, so we'll just take the heal again. Oh, Legends is the PS1 title and just got a remake. Ooh. Yeah, I knew that the original got remade on Steam. What's your thoughts on the Steam remake or remaster, if you have any? Children of Mana. That might have been the one I played. Ooh, another rain spell. I like these rain spells. Except this one deals only 15 times 6, so 90 times... This one only does 270 damage spread out across the field. Ooh, I don't know. It is cheap, though. I do like cheap spells. Well, this battlefield looks like a total cluster. I cannot explain what just happened there. I have no idea what just happened. This whole screen just kind of exploded. But it worked. Final Fantasy Adventures and Trials of Mana are solid one-to-one remakes, while Secret of Mana falls hard on the music and is filled with bugs. Oh, that's unfortunate. I think I'll just stick to the ROM that I got then. What is Final Fantasy Adventure? I have never played a Final Fantasy game other than I think that Final Fantasy Tactics Ogre game on the Game Boy. There was a Game Boy Final Fantasy Tactics, and I played that. I am like totally out of touch with most long-running JRPG franchises, as much as I'd like to get into them at some point. This is a nice one, this mana restoration when you cast spells. It doesn't lower the cost of anything, but it gets you back to casting spells faster. Spell duplication too, that might be nice with the rain spells. I think we'll take the spell duplication. Oh, Mana was a Final Fantasy spin-off. Is that what you're telling me? That's interesting. I had no idea. Since Final Fantasy Adventure is the first title of the Mana series. I did not know that there was a connection there at all. Weapon hits ricochet is normally pretty good, but I don't want to take that this late. We'll reroll one more time. Spells that cost 4 or more mana. I think we only have we have 3 of those. So this is a little helpful with the rain spells. So I think we'll take that. And this has synergy with that too. Oh, you see Final Fantasy icons in the game. So you'd have to be pretty knowledgeable about Final Fantasy to recognize those, probably. Because if any of them made it all the way up into Children of Mana, I didn't notice them or recognize them. This is probably the last shop we're gonna hit, so... Are there any spells that I don't want in this deck? I think Step Slash can go. It's not doing a lot for us. And then there's nothing else we can afford unless we want to add jams to our deck. So we'll just move on from here. Looking too good in the health department right now. Let's take that frost spell since it works with the frost spells we already got. Yeah, so we've got 2 bosses back to back here, and we're looking pretty terrible on our health, and we've exhausted our revives. looking like we're probably dead here, one step from the final boss. And this is a rhythm-based boss here. These green tiles that are showing up, they provide you a shield that will protect you from the unavoidable attack that she throws at you immediately after. Just barely got through that there. But I think we're gonna die to the final boss here, because the final boss has a lot of very tough to dodge attacks. Forgive me for focusing on the gameplay here. I want to see if I can complete this run. Although it looks like we're gonna bite the dust here momentarily. Oh. There we go. This game looks nuts. It definitely does. The boss battles especially definitely do get a bit nuts towards the end there. F indeed. They're very close. And there's the title drop right up there, one step from Eden. And this kind of has a progression system similar to Slay the Spire, where you get points towards unlocking different cards and stuff. Ah, so there's the first run out of the way. That took about an hour to get through. Maybe we should do another character next, like the ice character. It reminds you of Mega Man Battle Network. Yes, this game definitely shares a lot with Mega Man Battle Network. The deck building and the grid-based combat. I played Mega Man Battle Network a lot when I was a kid. It was one of my favorite games that I had on Game Boy. And with the Touhou bullets, yes, the final boss definitely evokes some Touhou vibes, especially with the cross attacks she does with the purple orbs. I haven't figured out a really reliable way to... Well, no, there is a really reliable way to dodge those. I just haven't committed it to muscle memory yet. So I'm gonna take a little drink of water here. Sip, sip. And ask you guys, do you like to bake a lot? Like, do any of you make your own muffins, bread, cookies, that sort of thing? So this character is kind of focused on dealing ice damage. And has a really weird starting card that drops a bomb wherever you're standing, and you're supposed to like use that and then dash forward so that the bomb drops on top of an enemy. I can't really get the trick of it yet. Maybe I'll learn it on stream here. And Bunzel, you do bake, but you've been getting lazier. Aw. Maybe you should pick up a bowl and get mixing with some cookie dough then. Do you have a particular favorite kind of thing to bake, Bunzel? And Arya, you mainly bake during the holiday season for friends and family and give baked goods as gifts. Ooh, I've done that in the past too. I really like doing that. I really like making, like especially bar cookies and getting those to other people. Now, I don't really think either of these help so much, but the starting shield is a little bit better than nothing. I bake a lot of bar cookies, and sometimes I bake bread. My favorite kind of bar cookie is a blondie with cinnamon. Cinnamon blondies. Alright, we need to set focus to ice spells, since ice spells almost all fall under the anima category. And in a similar vein... Oh, you don't make cookies usually, Bunzel. Oh, Bunzel, your name's getting double meaning there since you like to bake buns. And you make a shortbread that uses a lot of butter and it melts in your mouth. That sounds delicious. I might have to bother you for a recipe later. I don't think there was any way I was saving that hostage there. It was very crumbly. Ooh. Do you like put jam on it? Because I know I've put jam on shortbread and shortcake before, and that's pretty good. Ah, see there, that's what that bomb is supposed to look like. Hit all enemies that have frost. Well, we apply a lot of frost, so that seems pretty good. It's more on how you mix it than the recipe. You make a shit ton of air in it. Oh, and you're whipping it and... Ooh. That sounds interesting. I more meant, did you put jam on it after when you ate it, but that's, that seems kind of a little involved for a simple cookie. I like the sound of it, though. You put cherries on them sometimes, but they're a lot of work if you don't have a good mixer. Ah, yes. I yearn for a standing mixer. Attack damage doesn't help us so much here since our attacks cost mana. So we'll just take the defense. Cherries on shortbread, though, sounds like a really good combination, especially with the really airy, crumbly shortbread. Enemies starting with frost really helps us since we do bonus damage with frost. And have a lot of frost cards starting with them. Let's see what was in the treasure box. Yeah, as for mixers, I just have a hand mixer, and sometimes I don't even use it. I just beat things by hand, and it's a lot of work. You don't appreciate a really good stand mixer until you're not using one. And that 50-50 coin flip perk there just made us broke. So we're in the poorhouse now. Well, we're not really focused on fire. I don't even think we have a good way of starting fires. Yeah, we don't. And Meltdown's kind of unreliable on less packed fields. But this would be a good card if we had a lot more fire spells. And we don't have any poison synergy, and this is a little expensive. So, not much going on there. Hand mixers are junk. You'd rather use a spoon than a hand mixer. Oh yes, I have definitely felt like that before. They're really only good for not so thick things like lighter cookie dough and some cake. If you're trying to do anything other than light cookies and cake with a hand mixer, you're not gonna have a good time. Like, really the best thing a hand mixer can be used for in normal baking is creaming butter that's been softened already. Oh yeah, they're also really good for whipping eggs to peaks, but I don't do that so often. I for some reason, I just never find myself working with egg whites. Probably because I don't like frosting that much. Despite having a really huge sweet tooth, I do not like frosting. So as long as we're on the topic of making things in the kitchen, have you guys ever tried to make your own chocolate or candy? And I'm a little torn here between this line of fire and this circle of fire, but the line of fire does more damage and costs less mana. So I'm gonna take that. Egg whites mixed to peaks, mixed with chocolate chips, can make 2-ingredient cakes. Ooh. I might have to look into that because that sounds pretty simple, and I've always got a lot of eggs lying around. And you get pancakes if you use cocoa powder. Ooh. That sounds delightful. And you've made cans using chocolate spunzel. Peanut butter cups are good and worth the effort. A lot better than greasy Reese's cups. Yes! Reese's cups are, like, okay in a pinch, but they're always just way too oily. I don't know what they do to the things. See, I've made my own chocolate before from, Cocoa Nibs. And that's a little bit of work, and it's really easy to mess it up. But the results are really good, and you can get chocolate that is much more bitter than you would normally find in a store, if that's your sort of thing. Oh yeah, the peanut butter in Reese's Cups is usually super dry, too. That's a good point, Abe. See, this fire... I would really like this Firebolt, except since it has Consume on it, it's only usable once in combat. So we're just gonna skip that and maybe roll a better Firebolt later. Yeah, Reese's Cups these days aren't great at all. As a kid, it's like easy to look past the stuff that makes them bad. But, yeah, not so much anymore, I'm afraid. But yeah, making my own chocolate. The last time I made my own chocolate, it was It turned out a little more bitter than I thought it would, but it was still good regardless. So if you can find cocoa nibs, or cacao nibs, just like in a tube or a bag, pre-roasted in your grocery store, then I would definitely recommend trying it, because the nibs themselves are usually not that expensive. You just need a way to grind them up. And you can even do it by hand if you have a mortar and pestle. Oh yeah, Reese's Pieces are okay. It's really hard to screw up those, since the manufacturing process for those little I don't even know what to call them, button candies, like M&Ms. Those little button candies have had the same manufacturing process for decades now. So it's definitely really hard to screw those up, and I think part of the reason why Reese's cups themselves turn out so dry sometimes is because the peanut butter gets injected into the not the plastic, but the chocolate is almost like plastic sometimes. The peanut butter does get injected into the chocolate instead of the chocolate getting poured over the peanut butter. I'm pretty sure is how they make Reese's cups. Yeah, and they use bottom dollar ingredients. It's definitely cost saving all the way down is what makes them so bad. This would make poison pretty good, but we don't have any poison, but we don't exactly want to just take money over something that would improve our frost damage. So perhaps we'll get a good poison card later in the run. I can feel my lips drying out a little bit, so excuse me for a second. Hershey's chocolate has a mild taste of throw-up. Yes, that is intentional, Aria. I forget the name of the chemical, but they use... It's like an antique preservative method or something is what they claim, but it's like... They just put it in there because they took it out one time and people complained about it being taken out. You know, it's like... The squeaky hinge gets the oil. You know, it's one of those things. They put it back in because people complained, even though there were probably many more people that were happy with the change. Yeah, it is a chemical that happens to be in bile. You're right, Bunzel. That's a proper response, Ape. Yeah, if you've ever had the chance to get your hands on European chocolate or make it yourself, it will definitely taste more like the ingredients used, since that bile ingredient in Hershey's chocolate is overpowering almost to the amount of actual cream and sugar in there. We're too poor for the store right now. And we don't really need a heal, so we'll just take the luck up from the campfire. So, have any of you ever made like candy other than chocolate then? The only candy I've tried to make other than chocolate is something called Divinity, and that seemed a little tricky to me. You've got to get your temperatures just right, and a lot of it happens in a frying pan. Or a saucepan, really. Yeah, American and European chocolate are very different, Arya. There's that firebolt that we passed earlier without the consume on it, so we'll take that. How many spells do we have? Only got 9 right now, so this only increases damage by 1. Bile soup. I have no reaction for this. That is just so far out there, Bunzel. What is even in a bile soup? What would you put in it? That does sound horrible, Arya. You're right. Oh yeah, Bile did it. Good point, good point. Yeah, but what other than bile would you put in a bile soup? Like, bones? Are you just, like, eating bones at that point? Bone marrow? Like, I cannot imagine that being pleasant at all. Lots of different varieties. Bunzel, you're gonna have to explain this a bit more. A shot that explodes. That sounds like fun. Oh, I haven't even mentioned the flavor text on some of the cards yet. The cards in this game have flavor text that's mostly like meme references. In this particular case, Pyroblast has the flavor text in the lower right of the card that says lethal, which is, I think that's a Hearthstone reference. Noodles made from grains, tripe, general vegetables. Ooh. So kind of like a poor man's soup, except you vomit in it? This 150 damage spell with Wall of Fire is always nice, though, so I think we're gonna take this. I don't have soup quite so often, but I think if my soup was being made with bile, I wouldn't want to have it at all. A shot that applies frost and poison and flame and can hit twice sometimes. You know, with the poison buff that we got earlier, I think this might be worth picking up over the thunder that consumes itself. But this frost rock also. It's just like, this thing hits like a truck. 200 damage. I think we'll just take the effect shot here. Oh, I just thought of another awful joke for you all. What kind of musicians play in parks? Swing bands. Yeah, like a swing set. I think that's the last pun I got in me, though. I'll just take the money up front. Don't want to have to kill hostages. Bonus damage when a hit deals 40 or more damage. That's always nice. 10 free bonus damage. This thing is kind of tricky to hit. But we got it. Reduced shuffle time is a nice thing to have. Means you get back to casting faster. None of those spells look particularly good. Ah, there's one of the spells we're looking for. More frost shots. Excellent. Oh, that's awful. I walked right into that hit. I'm spacing out a little bit here, sorry about that. Yeah, we get through it though. You know, I might have to bust through this little containment cage here. I'll spawn another enemy. Ah, free frost application. Good spell for us. We're just steaming along here. Already in zone 4. Ah, thunder with splash damage. That might be nice. Why not? We're not really dealing fire damage that much, but there are some fire cards in our deck, so we'll pick this up. And we'll just take the mana regen. Do you all do a lot of traveling? I mean, back when before traveling became a thing that didn't happen all too often. I mean. We were talking about going to the Grand Canyon earlier, and traveling is something I always like doing. Ah, you love going on solo trips, Matthew. I'd like to go on trips with friends sometimes. Ah, you've never left the country. Ah, yeah. Getting a see, that's something weird. In Europe, it's like seen a really common thing to leave your country. But in the United States, you don't leave so much because getting a passport is not super expensive, but there is a barrier to entry there, and it takes an eternity to get there, and the only place you can really go without air travel is Canada. Canada's a nice place to visit, especially for nature. But it's not much of an impetus to get a passport. If I could go anywhere, where would I go? That's a tough question. I'd probably want to go see that that high desert in the Andes that almost always has lightning storms going on it. I forget the name of the place, but that's a really, really cool place on Earth. Pretty unique. Although I think they do restrict some of the entry into that place just because of the lightning hazard. Yeah, weather phenomenons like that are kind of interesting, but that's the only one I can remember off the top of my head in the world. And if you're paying attention, you might recognize this character as the final boss that we fought earlier. And that's just kind of a thing. It's that she pops up twice. Trapped in a corner. Is it random? No, there's a fixed number of bosses in this game. The order they appear in is random, though. I hate these diagonal attacks. They always throw me off. She looks like a character in Iconoclast. I don't think this game has any connection to Iconoclasts. I've never played that game though, so I wouldn't know. The developer only has 2 games out. What's the other game that they have out? Other than Iconoclasts. Noi2 Love. I've never heard of that. You had to look up the spelling. Legend of Princess, but you can play through that in 20 minutes. Ooh. A princess-themed game that you can get through in 20 minutes. An ice shield, huh? I'm not too sure applying Fragile to ourselves is a good idea. So we'll just pass on these. So what is Iconoclasts and how is it as a platformer? Oh, it's a Zelda ripoff. Ooh. Well, I always like Zelda games. Starting battles with full mana. That is why we get the mana upgrades. That's a good perk right there. It's a retro platformer with an interesting story. The mechanics are basic, but they're fun and the humor is good. Whew. I'll give that a peek after the stream. Thanks for mentioning it. As I put that fire on the wrong road there. We don't have flow at all, but, you know, free perks, no choice. This Salamander spell has good synergy with the Wall of Fire that we got. So, probably just pick that up. And that boss wasn't too difficult. Starting to exhaust my voice here, so might have to cut the stream short after this run. I'd wanted to stream for a lot longer today, but I don't think my throat's having any of that. Ah, yes, I will try to take care of myself. Thank you. Thank you for the concern. A charged shot that applies frost. You know, that does kind of work well with our deck. I'll just take the max mana since we start with full mana. And we were offered a perk that we just passed up. I really don't want to lose 200 max HP for 4 attack damage that doesn't really help us, so we're gonna skip this again. Ah. Well, since this is a consume card, it might not be that bad. Since we don't have to worry about casting it more than once, I think we'll take it. Might be fun to set the whole field on fire. Ah, another consuming fire spell. Sure, why not? We're getting eaten up here. Nope. Looks like we're gone. A little worse than the last run we had, but much more fun to play with ice than mixed elemental magics. Lots of very fancy spells getting unlocked there. Maybe you'll see those in a future stream. And with my throat burning up a little bit here. Oh, those purple diamonds are vicious. I am terrible at dodging those diagonal attacks, even though they have a really predictable pattern. It just doesn't mesh well how they move in my head with how I have to move to dodge them. So you got that right, Ape Lake Smell. So with my throat burning up a little bit here, I think I gotta give it a little bit of a break. I might be back with a Gorilla Isaac stream later, since I did want to play some Isaac today on camera. But I think we're gonna wrap this up here for now. Any closing comments from the chat? Oh, thank you. I know I'm not the best at these kind of games, especially on stream, but I do try my best. Oh, thank you for coming, Arya. I will take care. You take care, too. And you know, it's hard to notice while you're playing it, but this game does have a pretty rockin' soundtrack to it. I wanted to say rolling for a second there. I don't know why my mind immediately jumped to rolling. Maybe I should go back and play Katamari. I'm thinking so much about rolling. Anyways, thank you all for coming. I hope you have a very nice and comfy day or night or whatever time of day it is in the world for you. Goodbye and good luck.